You are now listening to WSN, Wolf Sports Network, live from the University of West Georgia in Carrollton. The Wolves play here, now an Odyssey station.
Live from Carrollton, Georgia, this is Sports Pack.
The only place you need to go for West Georgia sports.
Interviews with all your favorite UWG athletes and so much more.
Keeping you up to date with the NFL, NBA, MLB, and everything in between. If you want it, we got it.
I mean, plain and simple, the worst decision Kalen DeBoer has ever made is taking the head coaching position at Alabama.
I wholeheartedly believe that behind Sean Payton and a second-year Bo Nix, the Denver Broncos can dethrone the Kansas City Chiefs and be the AFC West champions.
We're also giving you a platform to have your voice heard with our all-new live call-in segment.
So where else would you want to go? We've got all you need and more right here on Sports Pack. What is up, everybody, and welcome to another Thursday edition of Sports Pack. I'm your host, Richard Reed, joined by my guy, Ryan Kroger, behind the board. Orlando Odom to my right.
What's good?
And Keyshawn Ward sitting across from me.
Hello.
We have a jam-packed show, as always. Whole lot to get to. Once again, as we always say, never enough time to get into it. The NFL Combine drill started today. A lot of big news as the big men along the D-line and the linebackers are out there running their drills, looking to impress those NFL scouts. A lot of crazy talk in the NBA right now. We're getting closer and closer to March, so of course there's tons of college basketball to talk about. And we're debuting our all-new live call-in segment, like Cadence said in the intro. So we got a whole lot to get to, and like I said a second ago, never enough time to do it. But before we get started, I got to pay the bills. And I must remind you that in a recent survey, almost 53% of full-time college students ages 18 to 22 drank alcohol in the past month. And that is why Dream City Brewing Company has joined forces with Wolf Sports Network and Wolf Radio's Drink Responsibly campaign to remind all of you that there is no drinking under the age of 21, to never drink and drive, even if it's only one alcoholic drink, and to add food or water when you drink so you don't end up texting your ex, which means know your limits. In the 2023 Governor's Office survey, it showed that 21% of adults have low literacy skills. That is why Wolf Sports Network and Wolf Radio have put together our ongoing book drive to help donate a book to every UWG pre-K student monthly in order to help reduce the amount of people with low literacy skills. I mean, you see, I even just kind of fumbled over the words in that ad read some. So be sure to donate at at thewolfUWGradio.com/book drive. That is thewolfUWGradio.com/book drive. I am so glad Schrader was not here to see that. But Ryan, how about them Wolves?
Is Widener rolls to the right. He's got some time. Everybody's down at the end zone. He heaves it. And it is caught for a touchdown.
We are one. Go Wolves.
As always, we got to start the show off with some West Georgia athletics. And we had a crazy few games going on last night, starting off with our men's basketball team, who took on one of the top teams in the ASUN Conference, the Lipscomb Bisons. Lipscomb came into this game 18-11 as our Wolves were staggering at 13-15. But our Wolves pulled up and put on a show. They were straight up ready to play, led by a 24-point explosion from our season's leading scorer, Shelton Williams-Dryden, who had 24 points and 11 rebounds, and a crazy 17-point performance from Josh Smith off the bench. Our Wolves were able to get it done and beat Lipscomb. Orlando, I want to start with you. You were on the call for this game. What did you notice that set our Wolves apart?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I was at the game able to commentate with my boy Ryan over here across from me. It was a good game. The atmosphere was great. I just saw the Wolves play a lot of great defense, suffocating defense. I mean, Lipscomb, they were averaging about 11 threes a game, and I believe they only made like 5 the whole game. So, I mean, the defense was absolutely outstanding. It was a block party. I think I said one of the calls, a lot of blocks. I mean, Colin Griffin had 3 steals, 2 blocks. I mean, Chime had 2 blocks. I mean, it was just very active all around from the Wolves. And
you're right. Lipscomb was 5 for 24 from 3, shooting only 21% from 3.
Yeah, I was on the call doing the play-by-play, and let me tell you, the Wolves came out firing on absolutely all cylinders. We've seen in games past that they've come out really slow and have let teams take advantage of them, but that was not the Wolves team that came out against Lipscomb yesterday. They came out shooting threes, they were hitting threes, and I think the big thing about yesterday's win is in the first half they only had 4 turnovers, and at the end of the game they only had 9. So I think when they limit those turnovers and come out firing on all cylinders, that's where they get their wins.
Yeah, I'm at the agree. I mean, they came out to a hot start, led at halftime, and, they never looked back. They never gave the lead up. Something I've been stressing all season was they needed to find that second spark, preferably off the bench. Josh Smith did that. He came in with 17 points. He shot efficiently as well. He was 7 for 9 from the field. So that's something that they needed, coming into this game, playing against a tough opponent in the ASUN. And getting a conference win like that, it really, sets yourself up for a better standing because they came in, 18 and 11. So they were leading at the top of the ASUN. So knocking off a team like that kind of asserts yourself into, tournament seeding as well. So I think it's a great win for the Wolves. Hopefully things kind of pan out in our favor so that we can make a tournament splash.
Yeah, and another thing was also it seemed like in that first half, the Wolves were being very aggressive, especially with the shooting. Like, everybody wanted to shoot the ball, but they were making smart shot selections. And even in the paint, they were being aggressive. They were playing hard. They were bumping, almost bowling Lipscomb in the paint. So I think that's a big part of that win yesterday.
Yeah, it was a great complete win. Like you said, they were very aggressive offensively, but still took smart shots when the opportunity presented itself, played some really scrappy defense. It was just a complete team win. Some guys stepped up offensively. Some guys stepped up defensively. It was just a great win, and that win makes us 7-10 in conference play and puts us in a tie with Eastern Kentucky for 6th place in the conference with one more regular season game to go this Saturday at home versus North Alabama. Be sure to show up and show out for our Wolves in their last home game as they're looking to secure a pretty solid seed going into ASUN tournament play that will take place Wednesday, March 4th through Sunday, March 8th. Let's cheer our Wolves on as they look to make a run. Now, our women's basketball team, things have been a little different. Started off really hot, but these past few games that we really stressed earlier this week are extremely important because they're going to help us with ASUN tournament seeding. Haven't been too great. Lost to Central Arkansas this past weekend. Lost to Queens last night, 72-62. Things just haven't been going our girls' way so far. And after this most recent loss, we are currently sitting at, we're currently sitting at 5th place in the ASUN Conference in a 3-way tie with North Alabama and Florida Gulf Coast, with only one game remaining on the road against the North Alabama Lions. So, Ryan, I want to start with you here. When looking at our girls team, a girls team that we've seen be extremely successful throughout the season, currently sitting at 10-7 in conference play, 17-11 overall. Like I said, 3-way tie for 5th place in the ASUN. What do they need to do to set themselves apart and beat one of the teams that they are tied up with in North Alabama?
Yeah, listen, I mean, they started off so strong at the beginning of the year. We've seen this team time and time again just come out and perform day after day after day. But it just seems like just recently they've just been mediocre. They've lost concentration on the end goal, which is to win the ASUN tournament. It just seems like every time they come out, I mean, their last home game, I don't really remember who that was against, but their last home game, it just didn't look like them. They were being sloppy with the ball, taking bad shot selections, not being aggressive, and that's just what they did at the beginning of the year to be successful, and they're not doing that now. So I believe if they can keep doing what they did at the beginning of the semester, or not semester, beginning of the season, and be aggressive, be smart with the ball, make smart play calls, be smart on the offense and defensive end, I think they're going to be okay, and I think they're going to make it far in the ASUN tournament, but they got to get their eyes on the end goal and keep it there.
Yeah, and one thing I'd like to add, they gotta be more secure with the ball, right? I've covered a number of their games this season. A lot of times, turnovers have gotten a lot of their way, and the game versus Queens, that happened as well. They had 26 turnovers. They averaged 17.5, so that's almost 10 more than what they average per game. So, they just have to limit the turnovers as well as get back on defense, because a lot of those turnovers tend to turn into offense for the other team. That could turn into fast break points. So, limited turnovers, keep the ball in the main ball handler's hands. So sometimes that could be Grace Aguirre or Galafont. Keep the main guys, or main gals, the main guys. So limit the turnovers, play as a team. Kind of get back into that mode that you were early in the season that got you to this point, and they'll be fine.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, another thing, too, I want to add is kind of like they've been on the road a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, this month, the whole month of February, they've only had, I believe, like 2 home games. I mean, I think the road is also getting to them. But I think now is like you're heading to the ASUN tournament. hold your head up high. You know, you got something to play for. Even though you're not going to be able to get to the, big tournament, you still got to play for something, Yeah.
Right. At one point this season, our girls are sitting as the number 2 team in the ASUN conference. They were balling out. It's just been a rough skid as we're going throughout the end of this season, and now we're in a 3-place tie for 5th place, going up against one of the teams that we are tied up with. This is our girls' chance. Y'all hit a lot of big points. Play within yourselves. Don't turn the ball over. Play good team defense. Remain confident. All that is great. But there's been one constant in this skid, and that is that Jasmine Jones has not been shooting effectively. Even this past game, now she only played 11 minutes, yes, but she also only scored 4 points. We were at our best when Jasmine Jones was sitting there killing it from behind the arc. She was automatic that first chunk of the season when we were dominant. We have got to find a way to get Jasmine Jones back confident and get her back rolling, because when she is on, the rest of the team's on. They said in one of their press conferences earlier this season, everything can be going wrong. When they see Jasmine hit that first 3-pointer in the first quarter, the second quarter, whenever, when they see that first 3-pointer going from Jasmine Jones, they all respond, and they have got to get her back going.
Yeah, I completely agree. These last games that I've seen, especially at home, their shooting has just not been where it's at. And I think for Jasmine Jones, I just don't think she's taking the right shots. I think she's covered, and she thinks she can make these. At the beginning of the season, she was automatic, as you said.
She was great.
Making those. But those aren't going to always happen in every game. I don't think she's making smart shot selections, and she's covered, and she's trying to shoot the ball, and that just, you don't have a high success rate.
Right, so let's see if they can get those problems fixed, get in the film room, see if they can find smarter shots for her to take. But the main point is she has got to get going for our women's team to have success. Now, before we wrap this segment up, I want to go over to the Diamond here, where our West Georgia Wolves baseball team was on the road in the Plains, taking on the 5th-ranked 7-1 Auburn Tigers. Now, on paper, this game seemed like we should have gotten a run off the field because our Wolves are going in 1-8 against the 7-1 5th-ranked team in the nation. But it was a dogfight all 9 innings. Our West Georgia Wolves went up 2-1 in the 3rd inning and maintained that lead throughout up until the 8th inning, where Auburn scored a run. But we matched that, going up 3-2. But then in the bottom of the 9th inning, Auburn found a way to pull it off, walking it off with a 2-run shot to beat our West Georgia Wolves 4-3. And like I said, what was a 9-inning classic in the Plains. Rapid reactions to the game because we're running out of time.
Yeah, I'm proud of our boys, honestly, for going out there and playing Auburn, number 5 in the country, and making it a close game. Not to say 1 out away from winning.
Yep.
And then, obviously, walks and base hit. I've seen it all over social media. It sucks to see. But, I'm proud of our boys for going out there and for playing as hard as they can, because they needed a game like that to know they can hang with the number 5 team in the country. I think that's a momentum builder for them.
Yeah, I'm at the agree. I mean, honestly, although it's a loss on paper, this is a moral W for the team as a whole, because you're coming in, you're 1-7, you're on a 7-game losing streak. You just came off a series where we all thought that they had it pretty easily against Little Rock, and they went there and stunk it up. So coming into this game, they probably came in confidence a little low, head a little low, but like you said, they came in now that they know that they can hang in with these SEC's guys. That's a top 5 team in the nation. So you play well against that. You go up, you take an early lead. It's just about finishing, right? The starting pitcher for us, Andrew Alvarez, he came in, he played well. He helped into 0 runs up until that late inning. So
huge confidence boost for the bullpen because they've been struggling so far the first 7 games.
Moral W for the entire squad. Like I said, it's an L on paper, but it's a W in my eyes. I'm proud of the boys.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, the confidence has to be out of this roof now if you're the Wolves. I mean, you were 1-7, you come to Auburn and you almost win, so it's supposed to be a big, real confidence for them. I can't wait to see what they do with it.
Right,
lost by inches too.
Yeah, it was
1 out away.
It was a rough.
That's probably the best loss they take all season.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you're not wrong. It was a rough way to go out. Now, looking forward to this season. Looking forward to this weekend. We have a 3-game series on the road in Mobile, Alabama, versus the University of South Alabama. First game being Friday at 7:30 p.m. Second game being Sunday at 3 p.m. And the third game of the series being Sunday at 2 p.m. Let's cheer on our guys if you're in the area or making a road trip so they can get that done. Now, quickly recapping softball. They played Jacksonville State right here in the City of Dreams, Carrollton, Georgia, this past Tuesday at 5 p.m., where they lost 13-2 in what was a very rough outing. Looking forward to this weekend. Our girls will be on the road in Furman, taking on Seton Hall in the Furman tournament on Friday at 10:30 a.m. Then going up against Winthrop at 1 p.m. on Friday. Then rounding it out with 2 games on Saturday, the first one being against Furman at 11:30 a.m. and the last game of the 4-game weekend against George Mason at 4:30 p.m. So if you're in the Greenville, South Carolina area, Be sure to swing by and support our girls or tune in on ESPN Plus as they are going at it in the Furman tournament. Now, we're going to take a quick ad break, but don't you go anywhere because when we return, we're diving into the NFL Combine, talking about a few hypotheticals for a few different NFL teams on how they can kind of turn around their fortune with one good offseason, and we're debuting our live call-in segment. Don't miss out. This is Sports Pack on Wolf Sports Network.
WSN, Wolf Sports Network, will have you covered this West Georgia basketball season with Inside the Coliseum, our 30-minute pregame show that will start 1 hour before select home games.
But we saw his ability to make those tough shots. He is a shooter, and he was second in scoring behind Shelton Williams-Dryden.
I think we just need to get everybody the ball as much as possible. I think we need to throw the rock around.
Join us as we cover both the men's and women's basketball seasons from inside the Coliseum.
Wait a minute. Is this what I think it is? Wii Sports? Let's try something. Let me tell you all about this show on Wolf Sports Network. Get with the playbook. Get with the playbook. Get with the playbook. It's the playbook. Hear us talk about all of college football, basketball, and baseball. Mondays from 9 to 10 p.m. The Playbook on Wolf Sports Network.
When you think about college sports, what do you think of?
Campus legends like Haynes King and Diego Pavia.
What if I told you there was a show for that and more?
More?
Playbook is your one-stop listen for college football, basketball,
Hello.
baseball,
Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me? Hello.
The Bulldogs have Ryan Nemhard.
Perfect.
Great. And they are going yard. Gonzaga in 5.
Tune into the Playbook Mondays from 9 to 10 p.m. only on Wolf Sports Network.
The Playbook is your home for West Georgia sports this spring. From University Stadium,
And we saw a very well put together offense that was trailing and going into the half, and then comes out in the third quarter and puts themselves up.
to the Coliseum,
We're finishing well at the rim, being aggressive, being physical. A lot of guys are touching the rock. It's been a great start for the Wolves.
and Cole Field.
I hope West Georgia wins. I'm going to be rooting for West Georgia tomorrow.
The Playbook, live every Monday from 9 to 10 p.m.
In the NFL, only one thing matters: chasing a dynasty. We are so freaking back.
Yeah.
Now, before we get started talking about the NFL Combine, I just want to welcome my guy Riley Ford onto the show. He was a big mainstay with us this past fall, and he is back in the seat next to me for Sports Back. What's up, Riley?
Glad to be here, folks. Thank you so much.
Glad to have you here. And you know, Riley, when you're in the building, we're only talking about one thing.
Yeah, that's true.
And, brother, that's football.
That's football, baby.
Because how can you not love football? You're down in the South now. It is amazing, and it's great to be seeing the guys get out there on the field and compete in these combine drills. It's been incredible to watch these D linemen and linebackers run as they look to up their draft stock. And one guy that we mentioned some on Monday, Keyshawn, is already doing it. David Bailey. Run us through what he did today.
He ran a 4.51 40-yard dash, verified. That is the fastest of anybody that's participated so far today. So he also jumped a 35-inch vert as well. So he's making a name for himself as edge number 1 in his draft. His draft stock is as high as the number 2 player to the Jets. So, I mean, right now, everything's looking all good for him. He's, if he continues to perform well on these on-field drills, he could make a chance for that edge number 1 position.
I'm looking at the numbers right now. He was also third out of everyone else in the broad jump as he jumped a 10.9. That is 10 feet 9 inches, ladies and gentlemen. This dude is an athletic freak.
Dog.
Now, before we move on from this topic, like you said, Keyshawn, we talked about this on Monday's show. He's a guy that was phenomenal at Texas Tech, put up big-time numbers, was a straight-up game breaker in that playoff game against Oregon. A lot of people remember that as being a one-sided affair, but David Bailey and Jacob Rodriguez and company kept Texas Tech in that game for all 4 quarters. If they could have got their offense going, they had a chance, largely because of the amazing performance from David Bailey. But a lot of people, believe it or not, NFL scouts included, have not seen much Texas Tech football and much of David Bailey because it's Texas Tech. They're in the Big 12. They're not one of those big name brands. Everybody isn't looking at them. So he is straight up seizing the opportunity to up his draft stock. Already had a mock as a top 15 pick.
Right,
but with this performance, like you said, he can go as high as 2nd overall to the New York Jets. And we say as high as second overall because a lot of people believe the first overall pick is locked up with Fernando Mendoza, the starting quarterback from the Indiana Hoosiers, Heisman Trophy winner from this past season. Everybody just expects him to go first overall to the Raiders, a team that's in a complete rebuild. Brought in their new head coach, Clint Kubiak, just won a Super Bowl as the offensive coordinator for the Seattle Seahawks this past season. They're looking to rebuild here. But Riley, I've been hearing a lot of people say that Fernando Mendoza, yes, is the best quarterback in this class, but isn't necessarily a first overall talent. Do you agree with that?
I agree and disagree. I mean, he's not Andrew Luck. He's not that kind of guy that any franchise wants to get him. I think scheme does matter here a little bit with Fernando Mendoza. But by the same logic, I mean, Cam Ward was the number one overall pick last year. And while Ward was extremely talented, I mean, I think Mendoza is getting a lot more looks and a lot more buzz than Cam Ward was. And so, I think Mendoza has those intangibles, that leadership ability. He can process the field really well. And so I don't think he's a traditional number one talent, but I think he does have, first overall, instincts and, potential. He can really be molded, especially with Clint Kubiak at OC.
Right, and like we saw this past season with Indiana where he threw for over 3,500 yards, 41 touchdowns, only 6 interceptions, and led the country in QBR with a 90.3. It was incredible, but like you said, it takes the right system. Now, you could also push back on that by saying, well, a lot of the guys that were on the Indiana offense won't even be drafted in the first round. No. The only first round pick outside of Mendoza you can see there is Omar Cooper, and I respect that. But he was in a very strong system, and when you look at a first overall pick, what kind of situation is he going into? You see the Las Vegas Raiders. It's a garbage fire out there. Not much going for them. The only really valuable piece they have is Max Crosby on as a defensive line. You have Ashton Jeanty, but he wasn't able to do much because they don't have much of an offensive line. No real receivers to show for outside of Brock Bowers, and he didn't play much of last season. But that just kind of shows how bad things have gotten in Vegas. Yes, they're in the thick of a rebuild, but when you have a guy like Fernando Mendoza, that's a very good quarterback, but maybe not a transcendent talent like a Caleb Williams was coming out or an Andrew Luck or something of that nature, you have to kind of question, is this the right move for the Raiders right now, or do they need to build a foundation so that when they do bring in this next quarterback, he can have success sooner rather than later?
Yeah, I think, honestly, this is a good start. I think they need to get the quarterback room fixed. I mean, it hasn't been good. Nothing's been good besides Max Crosby for the Raiders. It's going to be hard for Fernando Mendoza to, without all those other pieces, to be successful on the Raiders early. But I think this is a good start for the Raiders. Obviously, you talked about it. The offensive line is an absolute garbage fire. I mean, right. Ashton Jeanty, one of the best college running backs during that year he was at Boise State.
Was the best running back.
Was the best, exactly. Couldn't even do anything because of that offensive line. Wasn't open up the A gap, wasn't open up the B gap. So that's hard, and especially as a quarterback when you have pressure 24/7, that's also hard to get the ball off with. Indiana had a heck of an offensive line, and that was a good matchup, especially in Miami versus in Indiana in the national championship. It was a good offensive line versus an amazing defensive line. So it's going to be definitely a change for Fernando Mendoza, but I agree with Riley when he says it's not your traditional first overall pick,
right.
But I think it's a good start for the Raiders.
Yeah, I'm at the agree. I mean, he's not a number one overall talent in my eyes, but in a QB scarcity class like this, you got to go after him, right? You have the number one overall pick. You don't know when you're going to get that number one overall pick again, right? So I think you go out here, you get Fernando Mendoza. Max Crosby, his situation's kind of been up in the air. It's looking like he's in trade talks with teams as well. So if you're able to ship him off on draft day, accumulate a couple picks, because he's worth the first round.
That'd really be perfect for them.
In some. So if you could get that on draft day, I think that could help his situation a lot. But as an organization, you have to take a look at, hey, we're not ready right now. We cannot rush this guy. We cannot be such in a hurry to be in success. We're not ready to win right now. We don't have an O-line. He doesn't have any receivers to throw to. Our defense are kind of outside of Max Crosby. Our defense is pretty bad. We just brought in a new head coach. So I think, draft your QB guy now and take it slow. You don't want to give up on him too early. You want to wait until year 3 to really know what you have in this guy, because by then you kind of build, some key supporting factors around him to really know what you have in a guy. So
right, and I understand where you're coming from, and I want to make this very clear. I'm not dissing Fernando Mendoza by any stretch of the imagination. He meets all the intangibles. Had a great season, went 16-0. I mean, it was a perfect season at the University of Indiana. I already talked about his numbers. He's 6'5", 225. He's built, very intelligent, well-spoken. He's the kind of guy you want leading your franchise. It just comes down to what do the Raiders value first in their rebuild. Will they want to retool the O-line first, or do they want to go quarterback first? Seems like they want to go quarterback, but there's one way to fix that. Like you said, Keyshawn, you can draft Fernando Mendoza at 1, but also find a way to move Max Crosby during the draft to accumulate more picks. That way, it's not as bad when he's coming in day 1, because if you surrounded him with a lot of high drafted talent on that team that you can accumulate by moving off of one of the more valuable edge rushers in the NFL, and Max Crosby. Now, before we move out of NFL talk here, I want to stay on the topic of quarterbacks. I want to make this quick because we're kind of running out of time. We got some people waiting to join into the show in a little while, but just bear with us, guys. We're going to get to those live call-ins soon. The Minnesota Vikings are in a very interesting situation. 2 years ago, they won 14 games, made the playoffs with Sam Darnold at the helm. They move on from Sam Darnold to start J.J. McCarthy. They also had Daniel Jones on their bench, move on from him as well, and had a quarterback room that consisted of J.J. McCarthy and Max Brosmer. That did not turn out well for the Vikings, but their roster is so talented that Brian Flores-led defense, the Kevin O'Connell offense, they still won 9 games despite having some of the worst quarterback play in the NFL. So obviously the move for the Vikings here would be to bring in a quarterback, whether it be Mac Jones, Kyler Murray, whoever it needs to be. Probably not draft a guy, but bring in somebody that you know is going to come in here and perform day 1. If you're the new Vikings general manager, Riley, who are you bringing in?
It's tough. I mean, the roster is so built to win, but the problem with that is money. They are currently at negative 40 in the cap, 40 million in the cap. Obviously, they're going to restructure a lot of their long-term deals, like with Justin Jefferson, but it means you can't go after someone super expensive. Like Daniel Jones might be off the table just because Indy is keeping him, or he's asking for 25, 30 million a year. So I'd go out and see what Mac Jones is, what he's willing to take, because, he's a backup and he's gotten some great press. Maybe Malik Willis, but again, those guys seem to be more in that $20 million a year range. So, right. I mean, if you want to go super budget, super cheap, get a bridge guy, get, Joe Flacco or Aaron Rodgers. And, that's not the best situation to be in.
Especially with this Super Bowl caliber roster.
Absolutely. But, you need someone kind of cheap.
Right.
And there's just not a ton of, because there's such a scarcity of quarterbacks right now, it's just not going to be cheap no matter what.
Now, really quick, guys, one word answer here. Do you bring in a guy to start day 1 or to compete with J.J. McCarthy to try to get the best out of him? Which direction you going there?
Compete. Compete. I go with compete.
So y'all aren't selling your J.J. McCarthy stock yet?
No.
Because I'm going start day 1. After watching J.J. McCarthy, I'm bringing in somebody that's going to not just compete with him, but start over him immediately.
Yeah, listen, I think J.J. McCarthy, he was amazing in college. That's the reason he's in the NFL.
Was he?
He was.
He didn't do much at Michigan. Yeah, he really just handed the ball off.
He was solid. I mean, he was...
There wasn't much.
He beat my Buckeyes, so I guess he's.
What, he threw
good.
4 passes when he did it? I mean, it's like, what are we doing?
Listen, I think J.J. McCarthy. I think got to give him another chance here. I think what they need to do is bring in a veteran quarterback to help J.J. McCarthy. Whether that's Kyler Murray or whether that's Geno Smith, whether that's bringing back Kirk Cousins. I think as a veteran aspect, that's going to help J.J. McCarthy be better as the Vikings quarterback, and that's exactly why I say compete. Is that I think J.J. McCarthy needs that competition because he wasn't really getting competition earlier. So
right,
I think
gave him the keys.
Exactly, and I think bringing in that veteran aspect, I think that's going to be really helpful for McCarthy.
So we'll see how it shakes out with the Vikings. We're going to continue to keep a close eye on that quarterback room and see what kind of moves they make. But now, like I said, we got some people waiting to get in on the action. We are debuting our live call-in segment on Sports Pack. This is Sports Pack. We're ready for you. Who's up? All right, give it a second. Anybody ready? Michael? Now, once again, bear with us, guys. This is our first time doing live call-in, so we may run into a hiccup every now and again, but we are getting it ready to go. We got some people on the horn ready to jump in on the Sports Pack action. Are we good? Yay or nay? Who's talking? Is he muted? Like I said, we're working on it, guys. We're working on it. Hold on. Uh-oh. Like I said, we're working on it. Hold on. Hate that air. Say something, John.
You got it, bro.
There it goes.
Hello.
We're good.
There we
got
are.
it fixed. Like I said, it's our first. Like I said, now welcome in my guy John Howley. Used to be a mainstay on Sports Back the past couple semesters, but he's moved on to bigger and better things. Like I said, John, forgive us. We're having some minor technical difficulties, but now we are ready. What you got for us?
Well, before this started, I was in a grizzly bear fight, so that's why I got this in.
All right, the people can't even see.
I mean, look, you're talking the NFL, you're talking the NFL draft, and obviously, a lot of us are Atlanta Falcons fans here, and we bring in a guy like Ian Cunningham as our new GM, which I loved. I thought that was my dream hire, and you got Stefanski as your head coach, but you got only about 6 limited picks this year. I mean, the real question is, you see that Ian Cunningham is not. He's not playing games. He's cutting guys already. He's cutting Cordero Hodge. He cut Kirk Cousins. There's rumored to cut Tyler Algier and move on. Do you think Ian Cunningham is going to put us in the right direction? And within the next 2 years, do we make the playoffs?
Honestly, yes and yes to both questions, because as of right now, you have the right amount. You have decent defensive line play with James Pierce getting gone and a capable quarterback in place. This is a roster that can make the playoffs now. If they would have beaten the Jets, they would have won the South and made the playoffs. And then when you look at Ian Cunningham as a front office guy, he's been around success his entire career. Most recently with the Chicago Bears, that rebuild was incredible. So with the pieces already in place, the Falcons can already do it. And with Ian Cunningham coming in, not taking no for an answer and getting stuff done, yes to both, John. We're going to make the playoffs, and he's going to be very successful as a GM. And soon we're going to be talking Super Bowl right here in Atlanta.
What's up,
You know
John?
me. You know me.
Oh, man.
Listen, John. First of all, thanks for the job, buddy. Second of all, yeah.
Seat warm, man.
Of course, man. Ian Cunningham as the GM, hiring Kevin Stefanski, first of all, obviously Cleveland Browns fan, have to say it. I don't know if that's a good thing. As a Cleveland Brown, he was rated one of the worst coaches by the players. He was the worst coach graded by players in all the NFL, and then Falcons go to sign him. So there's definitely a big question mark on Kevin Stefanski, which he did lead us Browns to a playoff, but then rest of that just kind of went downhill. So do you blame that on Stefanski or do you blame that on the team?
I'd blame it on the organization. I think it's bad soil. I think it's bad soil. I'm with you, John. It's like the Cleveland Browns are a franchise that we have not seen have much success in years, and he brought them to that point. They want a playoff game under Kevin Stefanski. I think with the right tools and the right buy-in, they could excel. Keyshawn, before we move on?
The question would be, what are they going to do at quarterback, right? Michael Penix, he's not going to be starting week 1. You cut Kirk Cousins, so you don't have a first-round pick, so you could take drafting a quarterback out of the equation. Now you're looking at who are we going to bring in to start day 1? We could look at Malik Willis. You could look at trading for a Kyler Murray.
Maybe even a Trey Lance.
Even a Trey Lance or even a Mac Jones as well. But it all comes down to cap space, right? The Falcons would have to get rid of somebody in exchange for a quarterback. So it's about making those type of sacrifices. Those type of conversations are going to have to be had in the office in order to be better.
Right. Now, John, thank you for joining us, but we got to keep moving. I hear we got my dog Carly, or as she likes to be called, Chuck Pear, sitting in the queue.
Oh yeah, what's up, everybody? This is a voice that we haven't heard in almost a year.
What's going on, man?
I know, so crazy. So I want to talk about the West Georgia baseball at Auburn last night. So if our listeners don't know, I'm actually at Auburn getting my master's degree right now. So it's honestly been so crazy that it's been almost a year since I left Sports Pack, which is just insane.
It is insane.
It's insane. But John and Richard were supposed to come and see me and watch the game, but they failed, so that's okay. But
I had a scheduling conflict, guys. I'm not a flaker. I had a scheduling conflict. I couldn't reschedule.
Flaking, bro.
I couldn't reschedule.
Okay. But the women of Wolf Sports Network did make their way down. Cadence and Phoenix came to see me, and it was so much fun. And it was honestly such a good game. I mean, Auburn really came back towards the end with a walk-off. And I was saying at the bottom of the 8th, I said, dude, if they walk it off, like, this would be insane. And you know what? They did. So we've seen this a lot with West Georgia baseball. They play really good against really good teams. I mean, Auburn's number 5 right now. So how does UWG baseball clinch that at the end so that they're not getting really close with these really good teams, but they just can't follow through?
Yeah, Carly, I think it's a lot to do with our pitching staff and our closer and a bunch of these stuff like that. I think we have really good starters, but when we go to the bullpen, that's definitely the big issue for West Georgia. And you see when we have our starters in, we get those runs up on the board. But then when our bullpen comes in, we kind of get lackluster a little bit, and we give up runs, and then our bats kind of just die. So it's an interesting thing, especially going against Auburn. I honestly didn't give them a chance in the last Sports Pack episode. I was literally shaking. I couldn't even watch the game. I was looking at the live stats, and I was shaking. I'm like, no way West Georgia pulls this off. But see, Auburn did walk it off against West Georgia, but I think it's had a big thing to do with our bullpen, and that's the reason that we lost that game.
Yeah, just to add on a little bit, I'm with you. It's really been situational. Some games have gotten completely out of hand. The games like this Auburn one, it just came down to one missed pitch that gave up that opportunity. So it's very interesting. And I don't know, it's going to come down to this coaching staff trying to figure out what exactly we need to do to maintain this, because that's the best we've seen our pitching staff look all season. Even in the one game we won towards the beginning, the pitching staff was nowhere near as good as they just were against Auburn. So it's about trying to bottle up this performance. Yes, we lost, but it was so much good from it. Take a lot of the good from this performance and see if you can put that into every single game we have going forward. Because with this performance like that against Auburn, with a little bit better play on the bats on the offensive side, this could be a whole different outcome. Now, Carly, thanks again for tuning in. Like I said, me and John will not flake on you next time. We will be out there in Auburn very, very soon to show everybody that UWG is the superior university. Now, we got one more caller on deck here. Go ahead. Oh, she already muted. But I was saying
I was just gonna say I'm gonna keep your word. I'm gonna make you keep your word on that one.
We'll be there. Like I said, I'm not a flaker. John, I can't really speak on him, but I'm not a flaker. We will make our way out there. Now we got one more person on deck here. Jeremy Smith, can you hear us?
Yes, sir, I can. Sports Pack, what's up?
What's going on?
What's up?
What you got for us?
All right, so gonna go back on a little bit of the NFL draft a little bit. So as y'all know, if you don't already, big time Notre Dame fan. One of our best picks this year is going to be running back Jeremiah Love, projected top 10 pick. I've seen reports all week about where he could go. The Chiefs could pick him up. Could the Bengals pick him up? But most recently, as of the other day, this is a very interesting story. I saw a news article claiming that the Cowboys are interested.
Really?
The Cowboys just extended Javonte Williams, and they already have a solid running back room. If they get Jeremiah Love, does that mean that potentially they would trade away some of their other guys, potentially? Or ultimately, where do y'all see Jeremiah Love going? Because the way I see it, whoever picks him up in the first round is going to have an elite get to start off the draft. That's just my opinion, but what do y'all think on that?
Yeah, I definitely think that any team picking up Jeremiah Love is a great pick and will definitely be like a day one starter, impact kind of guy. For the Cowboys, I do see this as like if they draft Jeremiah Love, they probably will ship off some of their other running backs. Maybe Javonte Williams gets traded for, what they can get from him. But overall, typically when drafting a running back is more of a luxury, and Cowboys need defense more than anything.
They really do.
And so, I can see a couple. That's why I think the Chiefs make so much sense. They are a relatively solid team that can have the luxury of a running back. But I also see some other teams, maybe the Jets with their second pick, if he can really fall that far just on positional value. I don't know. But
I don't know about that. The Jets' second pick is, hold on, where
16.
Exactly? It's possible, but I don't think he makes it out of that top 12.
I don't think he makes it that far either. But I think the Chiefs is the best place for him to go in terms of how good of a draft pick it would be.
Yeah, to answer the first question, I don't really see a point in the Dallas Cowboys drafting Jeremiah Love, given the fact that they just extended Javonte Williams, and he's coming off the best season that he's had in his career, a 1,200-yard season with double-digit touchdowns. So I don't really see the main purpose of bringing in a guy like Jeremiah Love, although he could go to any team and make their offense 100% better. But I just don't think, like Riley said, they have more pressing needs on defense. I kind of also don't see him falling that far to the Cowboys. I think he goes either to the Saints or to the Chiefs. Those are kind of the two teams that I've seen him being mocked the most, and they're the two teams who need running back the most.
Now, Keyshawn, just to push back on what you just said a little bit, I do see a world where the Cowboys, if given the opportunity, do take Jeremiah Love. They definitely need defense. If I was them, I would go corner, then I would go defensive line in this first round with their two picks to kind of solidify that defensive the future of their defense. But if they feel they're in a position to get Jeremiah Love at 12, and you get him, I love having both. Obviously, Williams just had arguably one of the greatest seasons, well, the greatest season of his career so far. But we've seen across the league, especially in Detroit, that having two great running backs is way better than just having one with Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery. And adding Jeremiah Love to that backfield with a Dak Prescott-led offense who had some of the best quarterback statistics in all of football, with George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb at receiver, this could be a ridiculous offensive attack where you don't know what to do. You don't know whether to stack the box to stop these dynamic running backs or to put some more people back in coverage to handle those receivers. If they didn't have such pressing needs defensively, I would love this pick for the Cowboys, Jeremy.
Yeah, I'm going to keep this really short. Richard, I completely agree with you. I see a world that the Dallas Cowboys could pick up Love, and you said exactly what I was going to say. Think of Detroit with Gibbs and Montgomery. They were unstoppable at the running back position. Those are two really good running backs, and then coming in with Love and the other running back one for the Dallas Cowboys, it could be another Detroit Lions situation in Dallas. So definitely a good spot there.
Appreciate your question, Jeremy. Appreciate you too, Carly, and appreciate you as well, John. If you're listening and you want a chance to get in on the action, DM us on Instagram at Wolf Sports Network. We'll be doing this call-in segment weekly, and who knows, depending on how many of you are interested, we may do it on both Mondays and Thursdays. So like I said, DM us on Wolf Sports Network if you are interested in the call-ins, and we'll walk you through all the steps necessary to get you in on the action. Now stay tuned because we're not done yet. When we get back from our ad break, we're going to preview this weekend's college basketball games. Stay tuned in. This is Sports Back on Wolf Sports Network.
Tune in to Wolf Sports Network throughout the week to hear the very best in UWG sports coverage. Catch live shows, score updates, and breaking news all week long. But sometimes seeing really is believing. And now you can watch your favorite Wolf Sports Network shows live on YouTube. Follow at Wolf Sports Network on YouTube as we bring you into the studio with your favorite shows and personalities. Wolf Sports Network. The Wolves play here.
What's up? This is Parker Andell, and I'm the newest voice of Sports Out of Pocket. Step into Lucky Season 7, where the odds are in our favor. Crazy insights, hidden stories, and conversations that will pay off every single time. With a fresh season and a fresh voice, Lucky Sevens is here. Tune in to Sports Out of Pocket every Wednesday at 6, only on Wolf Sports Network.
It's a new semester here at West Georgia, and that means a brand new season of Sports Out of Pocket.
I love Jameis Winston to death, but look at the guy. Like, come on, that's not the veteran quarterback that I want to be. He's a locker room guy.
They got Jonathan Taylor back there. It's like having Saquon, just a little bit worse, but it's like having Saquon.
Tune in to Season 7 of Sports Out of Pocket every Wednesday at 6, only on Wolf Sports Network. Get ready to hit the jackpot. Sports Out of Pocket is back for Season 7. The Lucky Seven's final season with me, Jackson Voles. From wild debates to the boldest takes in the game, Jackson is going all in for his final run. 7 seasons, 1 final spin. Don't miss it. Catch Sports Out of Pocket every Wednesday at 6, only on Wolf Sports Network.
Wolf Radio and Wolf Sports Network are proud to boost literacy rates with our pre-K book drive. Our ongoing book drive will provide a new or gently used book to every child at UWG's pre-K monthly. Give today by visiting thewolfuwg.com/bookdrive. Together, Wolf Radio and Wolf Sports Network will make a brighter future. Once again, that is thewolfuwg.com/bookdrive. College students who binge drink alcohol at least 3 times per week were roughly 6 times more likely to perform poorly on a test or a project because of drinking. That is why Dream City Brewing Company has joined forces with Wolf Sports Network and Wolf Radio's Drink Responsibly campaign to proudly remind students that only students over the age of 21 should drink in an environment that discourages overindulging. Faculty will not take hangovers as excuses. Once again, please donate to our book drive so you can prevent things like that from happening to people in the future. Think about your family. No, Schrader doesn't see it because he's not here. Where is Schrader? Who knows? But he's not here to watch me mess up. And maybe that's the problem. Maybe it's the fact that he's not here. But welcome back, my guy, Orlando Odom. Not Orlando Brown. Orlando Odom. He likes to go by Orlando Brown sometimes, though. But welcome back. Welcome back to the show. We're going to dive into this college basketball weekend before we head out of here. Starting off with a big-time matchup tonight in the Big Ten between the 8th-ranked Purdue Boilermakers and the 13th-ranked Tom Izzo-led Michigan State Spartans. Orlando, I want to start with you here. Who do you like in this game and why?
I like Michigan State. Give me Michigan State. I like Michigan State. They got Jeremy Fears averaging 15 points per game. I mean, look, they're hot right now. Give me Michigan State to go into Purdue and get the win.
Yeah, I'm at the agree. I'm gonna go Michigan State. They come in with elite defense, like you said. Jeremiah Fears, he's their number one guy on offense, right? He leads the nation in assists with 9.2 a game. Their rebound is one of their strengths. They could play inside. They have Corncar, who he's going to dunk. He's going to come through the lane. So
he's a beast.
Oh yeah, absolutely. He can fly. So I think Michigan State, they coming in with that elite defense. They put that pressure on Braden Smith for Purdue. I think they could come out with the W.
Listen, I'm flipping the script. I'm going Purdue here. I honestly, personally, I like Purdue way more in this matchup than Michigan State. I mean, they both are averaging the same amount of points, though Purdue does have them 82.9 to 78.4. So Purdue averages more points. I get Michigan State does have a very, very solid defense, but Purdue has season after season had an explosive offense, especially in the paint, and they can shoot threes. So I see Purdue doing this, and I, especially when it comes to March Madness, I choose them going very deep every year. So right. I'm going Purdue in this one.
This is going to be a very interesting matchup. Two extremely well-coached teams out of the Big 12 have identical records overall, 22-5, and also in Big 10 conference play at 12-4. This, on paper, is a very even matchup. The Boilermakers are incredible at home this season, sitting at 12-3 overall. Like you said, averaging over 82 points per game when they're at home. So it's hard to see somebody coming in and knocking them down on their home court. Excuse me. But Michigan State, if anybody was going to do it, it would be Michigan State. A hard-nosed, well-coached Tom Izzo team that's going to go in there, pressure you defensively, get you off your keys, make you make mistakes, create turnovers. And that's the main thing. They have to create turnovers. When you're dealing with a well-coached team like Purdue with Braden Smith at point guard, one of the more experienced point guards in all of college basketball outside of like Cadeau at Michigan, it's hard to generate turnovers. It's hard to throw them off their game, especially when they're at home. I think it's going to be a great game, very competitive. Michigan State's going to pressure them a lot defensively, but I think as we move on, we're going to see Purdue really start to assert themselves maybe at the end of the game, make a few opportunistic plays and big three-pointers to end it off. I think Purdue's going to find a way to get it done in a close one. Now, looking forward to tomorrow, another big game in the Big Ten. We have the 3rd-ranked Michigan Wolverines coming off a very tough loss to the Duke Blue Devils, going on the road to Illinois to take on the 10th-ranked Fighting Illini. Ryan, I want to start with you here. Who do you got in this game? Does Michigan bounce back, or does Illinois give them 2 in a row?
Yeah, I think Michigan's going to bounce back here. I don't think they liked that loss to Duke whatsoever. So I think that was just a hello, we're human type of game there. Right. And I think they now know that they're capable of losing, but I don't think they're going to lose anymore. I think they're going to go in, take care of the Fighting Illini, and put it in a statement.
Yeah, I'm at the agree. I'm going to go Michigan. Look, it's a Big Ten matchup. You have the number 1 versus number 3 team in the Big Ten. A win for Michigan right now, that outright gives them the Big Ten regular season title. They're automatically in for that bid. So it's a lot to play for coming into this game with Michigan. They play explosive offense led by Elliot Cadeau. His assist ability, his ability to space the floor out and facilitate the ball. I think that that's well for Michigan's offense. And then you have supporting cast like Yesu Lindenberg. He's very well as well. He could play inside and out. Can defend the paint, rebound well. So I think Michigan, coming in knowing that, hey, a win right here could give you the Big Ten regular season title. Mm-hmm. I think they come in and, solidify that.
Yeah, 100%. I'm going to also have to go with Michigan on this one. I mean, like y'all guys said, just took the loss at Cameron Indoor against Duke, and they're back on the road again tomorrow night. I mean, they're just going to come in with a kind of hunger, we can't lose no more. Let's just go ahead and just do our job and handle this. So I got Michigan.
Unanimous.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you here. It's very interesting because, like you said, Michigan is coming off a tough loss. You're looking for them to bounce back, but you're also going up against an Illinois team whose backs are against the wall as well. They're currently sitting at the 10th-ranked team in the country, yes, but a majority of their losses have been in conference play, losing 4 of their 6 games in – I didn't have my glasses on. Yeah, 4 of their 6 games in conference. So when looking at it, Illinois is also in a very desperate position as well, because they want to stop Michigan from securing the Big Ten title and put themselves back in that race so they can have have great seeding in the conference tournament, which is coming up next week. So it's a very interesting matchup. Two teams that really want it. They're very comparable, very good offensive teams, very good rebounding teams. It's a very interesting game unfolding here. I was going to pick Michigan, but all of you picked Michigan. So now I have to go with Illinois. They're a very talented team. If they can get hot at the right times, they can definitely keep it close and make this a ball game. Michigan is going to throw everything at them, and my heart is saying Michigan, but I'm going to roll with Illinois just to flip the script. That way we don't all agree. That way at least somebody will be right if the other thing happens. I'm going with Illinois here, but I expect a great game, and I would not be surprised at all if Michigan pulled away towards the end. It really shows the entire nation why they were ranked at number 3 early. But they have also played a lot of close games, so I can kind of see it going either way. For those of you that don't know, Miami, Ohio is the 21st ranked team in the country and the only undefeated team in the nation, currently sitting at 28-0. I know a lot of people don't know that because where are you watching Miami, Ohio basketball? Well, tomorrow will be a lot of people's first chance to get a glimpse at the Red Eagles because they will be on the road taking on Western Michigan in some good old Friday night action. And this game will be nationally televised on the CBS Sports Network at 8 p.m. So do not miss that game. It can be your first chance to take a look at this Miami, Ohio team and see that they're actually legit. This is a real deal squad. Make sure you check them out tomorrow night, 8 p.m. on the CBS Sports Network. Now, before we round out this segment, one more game we want to touch on here. We mentioned the fact that the ACC has been surging as of lately. After Duke's big-time win over Michigan, they're currently sitting as the number 1 team in the country, but they have a big-time game coming up in Cameron as the 11th ranked, 25-3, Virginia Cavaliers are coming in to try to dethrone the first-ranked Duke Blue Devils. Keyshawn, throwing it to you first. Who do you like in this game? Does Virginia have what it takes to pull off the upset, or does Duke continue to roll on?
Honestly, I'm gonna go with Duke. I think Duke could continue to roll on. Cameron Boozer has been playing exceptionally well. He's been in his bag the entire season, has not fell off, not yet. You have supporting cast, Isaiah Evans. He's a real deal backbone to that backcourt of that offense as well. He could create opportunities for him off the ball. He knows how to get around screens, and you kind of got to force the ball in his. He got to kind of force the ball in his hands because he knows how to work with it. He knows how to do it. He knows how to, put up timely shots. He could do that. He could be that second star towards Cameron Boozer. I think them two gel together very well. And, with the coaches, what they're doing over there in Duke, I don't think Virginia comes in and take that away from them. So I'm going with Duke here.
Everything right now is telling me to choose Duke. Everything. But there's this small voice inside the back of my head that says, Virginia, Virginia.
West Virginia.
It's the number 1 team versus the number 2 team in the ACC.
Yep.
So ACC bragging rights, conference championship is on the line.
Virginia's only one game behind, too. If they win this, they will be the number 1 team in the conference.
Exactly. And they're averaging about the same points per game. I get Duke's played a lot more better teams, but Virginia, they're both about 83 points a game. So I just have a feeling if Virginia can keep this close the whole game in the first half, not necessarily be winning in the first half, but if they get the chance to pounce in the second half, I think they're going to win this game.
Look, my mind's telling me Duke. My heart is telling me Virginia, though. I mean, Virginia is hot, guys. They're on a 9-game win streak.
They are hot.
What singer said something similar? My mind's telling me no, but my body's telling me yes. My body is telling me yes.
We'll let Wolf Radio deal with the singing. Sports out of pocket. We're gonna go. Wolf Sports Network is gonna go back to sports, but Virginia is hot. I mean, won 9 straight. I mean, I think they go into Cameron Indoor. I think they shocked the world.
I don't think the single was half bad. I'm just gonna say that. But it's funny enough. I agree with both you and Ryan. I think this is a golden opportunity for this Virginia Cavaliers team. They've been kind of sitting in the Duke's hip pocket all season, just kind of riding on behind him and hanging on to the carriage, and they're right there. They're only 1 game behind, and with this win, in one of the last regular season games of the season, they could run in and steal first place in the ACC tournament right at the last second. And honestly, that's what I like to happen here. Duke's riding high, coming off a big-time win. And I don't think they're overlooking Virginia, but I feel like they may think, you know what, we got this game in the bag. And I think Virginia kind of sneak up on them, end up exploding early and not letting go. I think Virginia's going to win this game and secure the number 1 seed in the ACC tournament. It will just make for a beautiful storyline going into tournament play.
Duke's going all the way.
What?
That's
That's
my
bold.
take. I'm
That's
just putting it
bold.
out there.
You know what?
I'm just putting that out there now.
I wish-
I have Duke going all the way.
I wish you would have said that before I was about to end the show, because now we're about to go and we don't have enough time to dive into that.
That's Monday's topic now. That's
Yeah,
Monday's topic now.
make sure
we'll
you
say that for Monday.
Yeah,
We'll say
stand
that
on
for
that Monday,
We'll
because
say
when we
that.
come back Monday, we're going to talk about who we expect to win the entire thing. Because I like this Duke team,
I love it.
but I can't say I like them win the whole
March
thing.
is just around the corner.
I don't like them against Arizona.
Maybe Elite 8. Elite
Elite 8 is fair.
I'm ready for you, March. Come on, March. Squeeze me on. Let's go.
4?
No.
Oh, we gonna say this for Monday.
You want to say it for Monday?
Let's table it.
Ryan, you're right.
Close this out.
For Monday.
You
Close this
see
out,
what
Richard.
March does to people?
Dude,
Oh, it's
I'm
beautiful.
ready. I'm ready.
It's
I'm
just
ready.
over the horizon. And in order to see this conversation, you got to tune in Monday, right here on Wolf Sports Network. Same bat time, same bat channel. Thank you all for tuning in, and don't forget, if you want in on the action, follow us on Instagram at Wolf Sports Network. DM us and let us know that you want in, and we'll get you in the show right here next Monday. This is Sports Back on Wolf Sports Network. Have a blessed day.